her homegirl, calls me. How would place of business like to know that you beat women? I said, excuse me?
Young Philly's getting cancelled.
Popular musician and YouTuber from the UK, known as Young Philly, has been extradited from Queensland to WA, accused of serious sexual allegations following an incident in Perth.
That's right, Laura, and it's serious. He's facing 4 counts of penetration without consent, 3 counts of occasioning bodily harm, and 1 count of impeding a person's normal breathing or circulation. Detectives.
Oh, I didn't know that was a charge. Wait, hold up. Yo, is that a charge? Impeding circulation law. Oh wait, he's in the UK, right? That UK shit. Okay, I didn't know that was. Hold on, this is impeding breathing or circulation is a criminal offense that involves applying pressure to a person's throat or neck. I can understand if this is a fight, blocking their nose or mouth, or otherwise making it difficult for them to breathe. It's considered a serious charge with consequences, including a prison year sentence of 2 to 10 years, fine up to $10,000, and 10 years of probation. You lose the right to a firearm or to vote. Okay, I've never heard of that law before, ever. Okay, you know what this means to me? Immediately when I hear that, I say to myself, listen, all these chicks that axe to have a hand wrapped ever so tightly around their neck mid-coitus, think twice, okay? Think twice, my G's. Shout out to the MT Army. Let go.
Say the 29-year-old man said.
Correct.
Actually,
I don't think this guy's a Jedi.
No.
I don't think he's just here like,
Yeah.
this man's not Darth Sidious. I think if she couldn't breathe, it's because he was choking her.
Yeah.
Actually assaulted a woman in her 20s in his Perth hotel room after he performed an event in Hillary's on Saturday, September 28.
All right, so his bail conditions are pretty strict. He's going to be stuck over there till December. He's not allowed to leave Western Australia until he's stood trial. Apparently, the police officers have strong CCTV evidence for why they justified themselves making the extradition and the arrest, as well as photos and videos of the young girl's injuries to her body and to her neck. So, start off at the beginning. These are allegations. They haven't been proven true. If you don't know who Young Philly is a very popular content creator and a semi-popular music artist. He's currently on tour right now, so he's performing. He does his songs in different places. You might know him from Beta Squad, the work he's done with Chunks, and he's been on BBC. He's done a whole bunch of television shows. Let me just say, his life's pretty much over. But I can tell you, all of his TV contracts, all the commercials, all the brand deals where he makes most of his money,
that's dropped.
It's over. Especially in a place like the UK where they don't play with allegations like that. For someone like him, who is so mainstream and relying on that to make 90% of his money, that's just pretty much done. Young Philly has a long history of being weird around women, apparently. So we're going to examine some of that, take a look at it towards the end. I personally know quite a lot of creators who've either worked with him consistently, or know a lot about him through being in the UK scene. And most of them, all of them have negative things to say about him.
Really?
Yeah. What I know is that from all the people I know who have interacted with him, they all say a lot of the similar things. He's very aggressive with ladies, and they all say he's incredibly arrogant and very pompous when the cameras are off, and he's just very mean towards people.
Gotcha.
And these are people I respect very well. These are people who work with him consistently. So when a lot of the people around you are all saying, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
You know, if they would have said this about Chunks.
It's not, oh, shit. It's been like, oh.
Yeah. Him. Young Philly doing the silly with his Willie moving like Young Diddy.
Oh, wow. When he post that, though?
It's pretty good. I'll take that.
Yo.
The one that was most telling to me was that 4 months ago, there was a post talking about how he is with fans on tour. And in the post, a lot of people were leaving comments, and I didn't care for most of them, but there was one of them that was interesting. I mean, some of these are just arrogance. He goes here and someone says, yes, he tried to make me and my friends guess how much money he makes yearly. And when we said we had boyfriends, he called us dead things anyways. So it was one of them ones where... But here's the one that really stood out to me. The way he was acting in Australia was outrageous. And then someone else replies, what happened? And then the original poster says, he bit my homegirl outside the club.
Listen, you know what's interesting about that is that I found this video right here. Young Philly moving mad in Australia just before getting arrested. What? Is that it? Is this him biting her ear? It just looked like he just kissed her. Okay. Let's keep going.
Now, mind you, this is 4 or 5 months ago before any of this kind of stuff surfaced. And over the years, you know, there's talk of him being involved with an underage person. There's a lot of little things like that. And overall, the vibe that he gives off, as well as what people say about him, is he's a bit of a, I don't know if sex pest is the right term, but the dude is... he's a
sex pest. Sex.
You know what I mean? Somebody just be on it all the time.
Where'd you get that from?
I don't know. I've heard that a few times.
But that's good.
Adam was an only child.
Listen to the question, babe, yeah?
Yeah, let's see some examples.
No other brothers or sisters.
Your hair smells nice, so.
Thank you.
Was it that weird to sniff someone's hair during an interview?
Yes, it is. But you know, it's just like the Diddy thing. That like, there's a lot of things that we look back on.
With Diddy,
with Diddy, it was like
it's weird. Later,
now that we know everything that we know, we look back at it and we're like, but you know, when this happened, we probably would say like, that's a bit odd, isn't it? That's a bit off, right? But when we know what we know, it's like,
yeah. I mean, part of his humorous stick was being like a horny dog. That was part of his persona. It was.
I understand.
For some people, think that's funny. I always thought it was a bit cringe.
That can always that's gonna back.
That was his bit. Him and the other guy, the Panero dude, they would just often be really horny, like sexually aggressive with ladies, and for them that was what was funny for the fans. But the reality was, it was always a bit awkward if you're a well-adjusted person.
Look good as well. What's that? Oof, you're on jiggles as well. Oof.
Emily.
Come a bit closer to me, Emily, I don't think. And your name is?
Gracie.
Emily and Gracie, ladies and gentlemen. Got great skin, by the way.
A tortoise.
Reflection.
I'll be honest, the way that I see him, listen, everything is within context. Now that he has charges on him, people are going to be going back to these clips and looking crazy at him. But as a young, it looks like he's in his 20s, looks like mid to early 20s, just interacting with women, looking at them, checking them out, right? Like, that doesn't come across as ridiculous to me. Again, without the context of the charges. But let's keep going.
Look, we're holding hands now, see? Now that I've won some riddles, she's saying, oh, you're a strong, independent man. All of them.
But here's the thing as well, is that like when you reach this degree of popularity or stardom or whatever it is that you want to call it, I think you should begin to distance yourself from women publicly, right? Because then you're opening yourself up to litigation. You're opening yourself up to, you know, whether it's, you know, false allegation, right? From doing things like that. And actually reminded me of like Keanu Reeves, who refuses to touch women in photos. Look at it. Let me bring this up real quick. Look at this. Look at this. You can see it right down here, how he makes sure not to put his hand anywhere near the young woman. And then he's doing it right over here to the right as well. You can't see it right now, but he's making sure to show in the photo that he is not touching said woman. I think that this is a fantastic strategy, the more popular that you get. Come on, let's go.
Okay, and you're, ooh, yeah, white gals tick as well, look after you. Oh, you're amazing. Don't hide, come here. Ooh,
great pair of legs
put your
as
head.
I mean, like, it's part of his brand. He's just he's a bit of a horn dog.
It doesn't strike me as weird.
Again, in a vacuum, I don't think this thing is necessarily. Again, it is just a bit weird behavior, in my opinion.
It is.
And to be fair, now this makes a lot of sense to me, because I've seen like podcast clips of him talking about how he talks to women really badly. And like, for clarification, I didn't take anything to heart. I don't want anyone to be like, oh my God, what a horrible guy. So we're like exchanging DMs back and forth. I was 20 at this point. Yeah, I was 20. And then he like finds my YouTube videos and he's like sending me pictures of myself in my videos, like telling me he didn't like what I was wearing, or like he didn't like how I looked in that video. And then like I can't remember what I responded.
Not a crime. Fucking off, bro.
Isn't it weird?
Yo,
I've been doing this.
Not a crime. Not a crime. God damn.
Okay, hold on. Let's keep listening.
Yo, j'aime pas ce que tu portes là. Ferme ta gueule, G.
To a girl you're like chatting?
Girl,
I That's so weird.
That's weirdo.
What I responded, but I like tried to just be like, oh, haha. And then he sent me like the most brutal message being like, look, you seem like a lovely girl, but like, honestly, I just could not be any less interested in you. So I'm not going to let you waste your time on this. And I was like, oh my
I bet you felt
God,
so humble.
I never wanted to show my face ever again. I was with Lewis in the car and I was like, what on earth? And I was like, why respond to me that? Like, why keep the conversation going with me then? Like, if you were just going to say that.
Okay, so basically he's acting like every people commenting on posts that you're like, well, why don't you just shut the f up then? He's acting like some people that are watching their videos and then commenting.
But when I told you this guy is very entitled and arrogant, and that's what people around him say, and this is what these people in the clips are saying, this is just a reflection of what happened. Right. Everything that I've been told before, I see videos of how he is behind. Like,
let's just say I had a girlfriend, hypothetically, yeah? And I know one of her biggest insecurities was her weight, yeah? And she showed me a red dress and she showed me a blue dress, yeah? I'm not saying this is good how I am. I need to work on it. She showed me a red dress and a blue dress, and I knew in the blue dress she looked a bit fat, but she really liked the red dress more. I would actually say to her, babe, you look a bit fat in that blue dress.
Right.
Because do you know what? Do you know why I would? Well, my train of thought. I do believe it's wrong though, but the only reason I'd say that is because I don't want her to now wear this one because she didn't hear her insecurity in that one. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh, wait a minute. Did I hear that correctly?
But she really liked the red dress more. I would actually say to her, babe, you look a bit fat in that blue dress.
Right.
Because do you know what? Do you know why I would? Well, my train of thought. I do believe it's wrong though. But the only reason I'd say that is because I don't want her to now wear this one because she didn't hear her insecurity in that one. Do you get what I'm saying? Or maybe I just need to work on...
That's weird. It's not illegal, but that shit is weird.
Doing way too much to show someone's insecurity. You're doing way too much.
But does any of this mean he did that? There's a bit of social retardation when I see this guy and just the way he behaves. It's just like, what's wrong with you? It's just sometimes I see people, I'm like, are you maladjusted? And then it makes sense to me why you would choke somebody out and then beat them after a show, even though you got all the money, you have access to all women who would do it with you consensually. It makes sense to me why you would force yourself on somebody, because you're just like a socially weird person. Like, you are entitled and arrogant.
It's a power thing.
Yeah.
There's a power thing there.
Yeah.
There's definitely a way where he wants to have power over you, where I need to tell you your insecurities. No, especially if you didn't ask. Yeah, she asked which one is better. Well, answer the question, that one is better. You know what I mean? Not which one is better. You're ugly and fat in that one.
Right.
Thank you.
Right, yeah, in order to make her feel insecure. Again, not illegal, but odd behavior.
Thank you. Thank you. There's just something off about it. To me, this is one of them situations where obviously this is going to be something that's going to be litigated in court, but as far as his career goes, it's done for.
I think.
And there's no situation I've ever been in with a girl where I was just leaving bruises all over her body and all over her neck. That's not normal, even in a consensual situation. Someone you just met, for you to be out there, either you're one of the biggest dumb fucks I've ever met in my life, and you just leave random marks on women you barely know.
You're moving mad,
which is
bro.
A crazy proposition, even in a consensual context.
Right.
Or you're just really just doing evil shit behind closed doors. But to me, it's one of them ones where it's like, if you're gonna be fucking fans on tour, you're gonna be doing this stuff, man, make sure everything is right. Because all you people are just out here just taking chances in front of cameras. Odds are,
you know, this is the exact same shit that I talk about on the channel all day. And I always tell to the MT Army, you know, this is the wrong decade, the wrong era to be moving like this, like weirdly sexual publicly. It's absolutely the wrong decade to be doing that. Now listen, let me play devil's advocate. I don't even know who this young Philly guy is, but let me play devil's advocate just for the sake of playing devil's advocate, okay? Let's say that all of this shit is fake. It's all made up. Now, because of these clips and the way that he moves, man, because of, you know, people sullying his name without him providing proper responses back to these things, because of this, because he's admitting to making women feel insecure for an ego power trip, right? Because he's talking about all this, a woman can come by and do some false allegation shit, but they say, but look at his character. Wouldn't he be the same type of person to do those types of things? What is the likelihood of that? Now, when they talked about they had CCTV, I'd love to be able to see what that is. Because when I think of CCTV, that's closed circuit television, right? So that would mean generally that it's in a public space. But didn't they also say that it was back at his hotel? So are there videos of what happened? We're going to read an article right after in order to be able to see. But yeah, if anything, let's say that he didn't actually do it and all of this shit, his career is absolutely ruined because men are guilty until proven innocent when it comes to S allegation, S assault, you know, especially for something as heinous as what this is being described as. But this is prime opportunity to understand how it is that you move within a situation and how it is that people are pursuing you. Don't be that guy. All right.
Very likely this guy did this stuff, and everybody I know who heard about this said he probably did it. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. When your friends are not coming to your defense, when nobody around you is,
silence radio.
The people you all came up with, some of them even going behind closed doors to say, "Yo, listen, stay away from this one. He might have really done it." That just don't speak well about you. No. It doesn't speak well about your relationships with people, and it doesn't speak well about how you're perceived by all the people around you. So that's where I stand with this.
If you gotta go on tour and sleep with these girls, don't.
Fucking groupies doesn't have to be a horrible thing. It's just
no, it's not.
You just can't be entitled. If just because she's a groupie, you know,
don't
if it comes to a point where
anyway.
she's in bed but she says no, then you just gotta let it go. There's gonna be another groupie at the next show.
That's a good bar. Yo, did you hear yourself?
No, but just there's gonna be a groupie at the next event. Like me finding out this dude's a sex pest, liking 15-year-old girls' pictures and stuff like that. It's
that's
just
crazy.
One of them situations where I'm like, why? There's so many people you got access to, but it's the entitlement. It's the same entitlement that makes them say all that foul shit to people. It's the same entitlement that makes them acting crazy to people. It's the same entitlement that makes them think you can be a famous person and just liking 15-year-old tweets. Or talking to 17-year-olds on a regular basis as a 30-year-old. Or, you know what I mean, just doing all this like gross shit where you're just sniffing with it. It's the same thing. But this shit catches up with you eventually.
Yeah.
You know, somewhere out there, I guarantee you, a man named LV General is just loving his best life.
Who's LV General?
And you may not know the lore. This is probably one of my favorite bits of lore that I know for no reason. But LV General is the guy who Young Philly came up with when they first started. Okay. And then Young Philly got rid of him because LV is a little bit crazy. And LV's always been bitter about that. But now he's seeing Young Philly get to the top and then go to prison.
Here's the thing, and Abba didn't, he said it's okay, you know, you can mess with groupies or something to that extent, but you got to understand, it always is going to come with a risk, especially if they're that attracted to your image, your likeness, your brand, you know what I'm saying? And I think that if you become a person of status or, you know, power, money, you got to understand that there's vultures out there, there's scammers out there. There's people that are looking to come up on the lick on you, you know? I look down into my Instagram DMs from time to time, you know, chicks sliding me shots of their viscous innards from time to time. And I'm just like, I can't do much with that, baby girl, okay? It looks very viscousy, but, you know, we can't meet like this, all right? Let's keep going.
Yo. I haven't heard that nigga in a long time.
I haven't heard that shit in a long ass time.
I told you, man.
Yo.
Australian prison gotta be crazy, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. This guy's gonna be out there in cellmates with giant spiders and snakes that look like humans. Yeah. And in Australian prison, you don't gotta worry about other men when you drop the soap. Yeah. Imagine if a spider went up your ass.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Hey. Oh, 100%. You're going to be shitting cobwebs and everything.
100%.
Yeah. Every time you go to sleep, prison says good night and just...
I thought I was supposed to be alone in my cell. You are.
Just like 100 eyes glowing in the dark and shit like that.
All right, let me pause this. So let's go over the BBC article real quick just to learn a little bit more about it. British rapper and online personality Young Philly has been charged over R allegations in Australia. Real name, Andres Philippe. He's best known for his work with the YouTube collective Beta Squad. Has presented shows on BBC 3. Okay, Beta Squad, I've never heard of this.
Today on...
Oh, he was arrested in Brisbane on Tuesday and extradited to Perth the following day to attend a court hearing. He was charged on Thursday and he had his bail application approved. His representatives have been contacted for comment. The full charges include 4 counts of penetration without consent. Damn, 4? How does that happen? 3 counts of assault occasioning bodily harm and 1 count of impeding a person's normal breathing of okay, that's the one I remember, by applying pressure. It is alleged that he brought a woman in her 20s back to his hotel room after he had performed that night at a bar in Perth. The attack is alleged to have taken place on the 28th of September. He's represented by Perth Magistrate Courts by barrister Seamus Rafferty SC, who was applied for bail on his behalf. The 29-year-old who was in Australia touring his music has also appeared in Soccer Aid on ITV. Okay, what's interesting about this is that it doesn't say anything about CCTV as well. And here's the thing. You're up on a channel getting tens of millions of views and you moving mad like that? Is that him right there? You're moving crazy. They're able to pull up clips like this of your freaky behavior. Moving mad, as what they say in London town. Crazy.
This time, young Philly is facing very serious allegations. Not only was he arrested today, but he was also charged with raping a woman in her in a hotel room in Perth. And honestly, the fallout from this could be...
I'm sorry, that music.
One of this huge friendship group of some of the biggest creators in the world.
That's crazy. I didn't know he was that popular.
BBC, ITV, Meta, and even like the Prince's Trust. Are his friends gonna defend him or abandon him? Will Brand drop him? Did he even do it? Well, that is all what we're gonna go over today. So, like the video and let's get...
Let's take a look.
Now, similar to America, Australia is made up of different states with their different laws. And prosecutors allege that this incident happened at a hotel room after performing at a nightclub in Perth for his Australia tour. So, because of this, they actually had to extradite him back to the state that this happened. And as you can see, this is the video of him in an airport coming back from Queensland, Brisbane, where he was at, to Western Australia to face trial. And as you can see, he's handcuffed there, being led by a couple of police officers and put into a car. Now, before we go into details of what was alleged in court that actually happened, and warning, because they're pretty gruesome, I feel like for anyone who isn't as familiar with young Philly needs to understand the magnitude of this. Because him being arrested is not just going to affect his career deeply, but you have millions of his followers that look up to him. He's also part of this huge friendship group in the UK that are some of the biggest creators in the world, like the Sidemen, the Beta Squad. He's got a podcast with Chunks. He's also doing a lot of work in traditional TV, like he's got his own show with the BBC called Hot Property. He's got another show with Channel 4 and Harry Pinero called The Philly and Harry Show. He's featured in a bunch of Sidemen videos, some of which have got over 80 million views, and his dedicated ones with them have over 40 million views. He played in the Soccer Aid match on ITV.
Okay, I was trying to figure out why Auburn Preach were covering that video, you know, because, and really it's because of how popular that he is.
He was in the Great Celebrity Bake Off. He's got his own music, which gets millions of streams every month, and he goes on.
You know what's so crazy about this, and I'm not saying this is out the realm of possibility, but to have all of this, and if you go down into a path of destruction because of power and rage or being a deviant to a young woman, like it's so odd to me. It's so crazy. But at the same time, I want to see a trial. I want to see the proof.
Tours as he was doing in Australia, always working with massive brands. Like he's got his own sauce with Heinz. He's worked with Meta, the British military, Adobe, Captain Morgan, and a bunch of others. And he even works with charities like Stand Up to Cancer and even the Prince's Trust to inspire young people to chase their dreams. So, point is, the fallout for someone like this that is working with and affiliated to so many different people and brands, all of them are probably going to try and desperately now try and protect their own public reputation. But we'll get back to that side of things in a second, because today he appeared in court where he's being charged with 4 counts of sexual penetration without consent, 3 counts of assault occasioning bodily harm, and 1 charge of impeding a person's normal breathing or circulation by applying pressure to their neck, aka strangling. He couldn't have just said that. And the prosecutors even attempted to oppose young Philly's bail application because they alleged that there was an extremely strong prosecution case supported by CCTV and photo evidence. And they basically are trying to make the case that he's not just some ordinary person being tried, and they don't want him to use his social media influence to impede the case. Prosecutors also showed pictures to the magistrate which were not shown in court, and in reference to what these photos depicted, they said, across her body is a history of violent acts. We say those photos and what is alleged is beyond the pale, beyond what could be considered a consensual act. Now, on the other side, Philly...
Hold on.
Her body is a history of violent acts. We say those photos and what is alleged is beyond the pale, beyond what could be considered a consensual act. Now, on the other side, Philly's lawyers are questioning the strength of the prosecution's case because they are claiming that the girl didn't even raise any concerns about assault during a call with her friend at 5:31 a.m. Now, the case was adjourned for the day and he was granted conditional bail, but in those conditions are a ban on contacting his alleged victim or posting anything about this whole case to his millions of followers on social media. Now, it goes without saying, but the charges don't suggest that the allegations are proven. Rather, he will now be tried in an Australian court and he is innocent until proven guilty. When these sorts of allegations come out, it almost doesn't matter to the internet. The damage is done. I mean, you go on Twitter and people are already bringing up old clips of Philly interacting with women. And it's like, before the allegations, hardly anyone batted an eye at some of these. But now you see him getting arrested, and then there's hindsight, and you know, people see this with a whole different view, and it goes crazy viral.
Not crazy.
You choking her? You trying to kill her?
Like a choke, it was more like a... You know what I mean?
What the f... Yeah, see, look.
What?
Yo, okay.
Monkey see, monkey do, bro.
All right.
Yes.
Listen, this young brother right here has made a few mistakes, but what he knows is not to dip into the sexual, right? Like, this is crazy why he would be doing shit like this on videos that are getting tens of millions of views. They're going to bring up every single last one of these clips up in the court in order to try to paint a picture regarding his character. This is moving absolutely mad. It is odd today in 2024 and beyond, and it's been like this for like 20, 25 years now at this point, especially with feminism still having a ruling arm, right, within our culture and society today, to be leading with these sexual depravity jokes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really odd.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
His shit is done. Done.
Yeah, see, look.
What?
Yo, okay.
Even if he's not guilty.
Yeah, so you get the point. And I mean, there's no point in like showing you the other things that are floating around on Twitter, because that place, they are really just prepared to destroy lives, innocent or guilty. But the part that's going to be really crazy to watch is how other creators react or respond to these allegations. Are they just going to try and ignore everything and everyone until there is a verdict? Are they going to come out and try and defend him? Are they going to try and remove his videos where he made features? What are all these brands going to do? Because brands are notorious for being one of the first people to come out and publicly denounce anyone for anything. Man, because you think about people, even like Russell Brand, and how everyone dropped him when you know, he was accused of assault, even from like 10 years ago. They closed his pub down. I mean, even YouTube removed him from the partner program. So from making any money for allegations alone. Allegations that I might add that have still not, you know, come to anything like him being charged.
I'm surprised he's not even talking about the biggest one within this, that we all have the enjoyment of watching a public trial to, the Amber Heard and the Johnny Depp shit. At the point of allegation, at the point that they took photos and of Amber Heard and put it on that Rolling Stone or whatever the magazine was, it was over for your boy. Career derailed for like damn near 5 years or so, right? We never got a Pirates of the Caribbean after that shit. At the point of allegation. So gents, if you know that at the point of allegation, it gets this serious, you have to know and understand how to move better within these situations. Let me tell you guys a quick short story as well. And especially, I've told this story a couple other times before, but especially for new members that's on the chat, I've had a false allegation placed up on me. It was only for a short amount of time, but I had this as well. This is back when I used to live in Ohio. I met a girl on the Tinder, went out to coffee dates. You guys already know how I used to only do the coffee dates back into the day. Went out on a coffee date. Met her, we were vibing, kicking it, we were chatting for like 2 hours. We break off. She hits me up later. She's like, what you doing? I said, oh, I'm with my guys. We about to go out to da-da-da. She's like, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna be on that way of town. Let's link up. Boom, we linked up. Boom, we kicked it off. We hit it off. She ends up going home. Let's say like 3 or 4 days later, we go out on date number 2. End of the evening, clap cheeks. From then on, shit got weird, okay? About a week or so later, right, I've talked a couple of times on the phone, and we talked about linking up like that Sunday or something like that. But I told her, yo, it's Sunday fun day, baby girl. if I am drinking today, I'm not driving because I do not drink and drive. If I end up drinking something at Sunday Fun Day when I'm out having a good time, I am not going to drive, right? So she had an attitude and hung up on me, right? Oh, and I'm just like, what is this? The nerve of you to hang up on me when we barely know each other, right? Like, I don't like toxic relationships. I don't like drama, and I'm damn sure not a little boy, right? End of conversation, right? So I start to ignore the whole next day, texting me, apologizing, texting me, saying like all of these weird things, right? She's trying to call me, and I'm ignoring her throughout the entire day. Had a fantastic Monday at work, right? It gets to like 6:30, 7 p.m. at night, and my man's hit me up, right? And he says, he's on the phone, and he's like, oh, I'm over here. I'm like, yo, what's good, bro? I pick up the phone. He's over at the bar, and I'm like, hey, man, what's up? And he's like, yo, I'm actually over here with one of your friends, and we was just having a conversation, and she said that she knows you. I said, well, who was the friend? It turned out being the same chick. So I'm like, damn it, bro. Like, why'd you call me? So anyway, he hands her the phone, and I'm just like, hey, what's up? Da-da-da. We start talking. From the talking to me to the texting that she sent right over, she started to seduce your boy. I ain't gonna lie. She started to seduce your boy, and it goddamn worked, all right? The flesh was weak, and I began to think with the wrong head, the incorrect head. I was thinking with the wrong one, and I allowed her to come back into my presence, okay? Now, she ends up coming through. Come on, chat, relax. Order in this court. Order. Anyway, she ends up coming back to the crib, right? Because they was like walking distance away at a bar. She ends up coming back to the crib, and we have a fantastic evening. Here's where it got crazy, okay? She was about to leave, okay? She was about to leave, and here's the thing. Before she came over, I went up and had a load of laundry. And the load of laundry, I was putting it in my drawers, but it was like some whites that was on the ground and shit like that. So she's about to leave, and she went to go like wash her hands, but instead of going to go wash her hands, she picked up from the clean clothes and she began to like wipe her hands on the clean clothes. And I'm sitting here looking at her like, why are you doing that? There's a bathroom right over there. Why don't you just go wash your hands over there? And then that turned into a mini argument. Anyway, that ended off with her at my back door holding my back door stopper. You know those big, long metal stoppers that you put behind the door in order to secure it? Holding in her hand, acting like she was going to hit somebody with it, right? So I'm not touching her. Don't put a hand up on her. And I see that she's doing that. And I go back in my bedroom, and I turn off the lights. I turn off the lights on the. And then about 20 seconds later, I thought to myself, I shouldn't leave this crazy chick out in my living room because she's probably going to damage something. 5 seconds later, I hear, boom, the back door close. The black door closes, right? So I run about the bedroom, right? Because I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I'm not going to, because I know how chicks do. And this is me as a late 20s, early 30-year-old young man with tacit knowledge regarding how ugly that situations can like this get with crazy ass, dirty ass, sloppy ass, drama filled, toxic ass, demon serpent, witch hunting women. I understand this. So but I prioritize my own safety, right? So she leaves. I run out of the room. I run out and I lock the shit out that door, right? And then I sleep wonderfully that night because I'm thinking to myself, I got a banshee out of my crib, safe and sound, never pick up her phone calls ever again, okay? I wake up in the morning, chat, all right? I wake up in the morning, and I'm getting ready for work, and I'm about to leave, and I cannot find my keys, nor can I find my wallet. Now, at this particular junction, I knew that there was something off about her, but I would have never guessed that she would have done something with my personal belongings, my personal property, okay? I would have never guessed that. Regardless, I'm looking all throughout my goddamn apartment trying to find my keys and my goddamn wallet. I am now at this point about an hour and a half hours late to work. Okay? I called my boss. I'm like, listen, you're not going to believe this. I can't find my keys and my wallet. He's like, your keys and your wallet? I said, I know it sounds crazy, but we had a good rapport, right? We could just talk about things. I know it sounds crazy, but just give me some extra time this morning. I already got my meetings booked, handled, da-da-da. He's like, all right, just let me know if you need anything, right? So I'm tearing up my house. I cannot find the shit. And I call her goofy ass. And I'm like, yo, have you seen the keys and wallet? She said, no, I'm at work right now, but I didn't see them. She said, when I get back home, I'll go check in my bag to see maybe it slipped down up in there. Okay. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm out on my back porch, right? I'm on my back porch. At this point, it's like 11 a.m. And my neighbor walks to the back porch and he's like, look at him. He's like, hey, man, what's up? And I'm like, man, you won't believe it. I can't find my keys in my wallet. He's like, what? Your keys and your wallet? I'm like, yeah, I know. It's crazy, right? And he's like, all right. So he leaves and he goes out to the parking lot and he comes back around and he's like, yo, I found your wallet down here. Now, back where this was, I had not been there the entire night. I called the harlot back. I said, I found my wallet. It was raining outside, by the way, too, so my wallet was soaked. I don't think there was any cash in there, but my wallet was soaked. I said, listen, harlot, I found my wallet. I was not back there yesterday. Tell me right now where are my keys or I'm calling the cops. She hung up on me. She hung up on me. I then text her. I said, you have 5 minutes. Tell me where you put the keys and all of this goes away. It all goes bye-bye. She says, listen, I took the wallet and I threw it behind. So she ends up calling me back. She said, I took the wallet and I threw it behind the thing because I was just so mad at you last night. I was just so mad. Threw it behind the thing. She took the keys and she said when she was on the way to go home, she threw them by the freeway. By the freeway? You crazy or are you mad? By the freeway? I said, you better go get them keys. Now, mind you, the freeway was, I want to say like 4 to 5 blocks away. It wasn't that far away, but that's where she threw it, right? So anyway, I said, I'm going to go walk over in that direction. And if I do not find my keys, I'm calling the goddamn cops on you. I began to go walk over there. Mind you, she works in that area. So I'm going to go down there to go try to find the keys. And it's funny, actually, because on my way to go walking over there, I get about 4 blocks up. And then I see a chick from the back. And I'm like, looking, I'm like, God damn. It was like a yacht moment. It turned out to be the same bitch. I was so pissed after that. Anyway, so I walk up to the spot that she says in the beginning of the freeway entrance, and my keys were sitting right down there, like in the middle of the sidewalk. There's something in me that actually, after I think back about the story, she may not have thrown the keys. She might have had the keys on her. And then she went and dropped it back there because she worked relatively close by. Nevertheless, so I pick up my keys. I now have my belongings. So now I'm good to go. I began to hurl verbal expletives, and y'all know how expletive is that I can get at her way. And then I end off the whole thing and I say to her, I'm still going to call the cops anyway, right? Unto which I did, because I tell you guys, traceability is a good thing. Visibility is a good thing when you are in the right, when you are not guilty. It's a fantastic thing when you have a system of receipts. And if she stole something from me, I want documentation that this happened. Official documentation, because if later on down the line, if something else happened, I would have official documentation to her goddamn wrongdoing. Here's where I messed up. And when the first time that I've done this story 4 years ago. There's a video on my channel 4 years ago where I talked about this, laid it all out there. Because it's a learning lesson, because we all mess up. And I give credence that we can all mess up. We can get tricked by a big butt. You know what I'm saying? Nevertheless, here's why I messed up. And here was one of the many learning lessons that I'm going to say to you guys. Here's why I messed up. is that I told her I was going to call the cops, and that could have been it. I could have just called the cops. But in my little bit of pettiness, what I did is that not only did I call the cops, but when the cops came over to write that police report, I took a photo of the cop in my apartment. And if you look back on the old video, I actually showed the picture of the cop in my apartment in the old video. But anyway, I took a picture of the cop and then I sent it to her to scare her, right? The cop takes the police report. I ask him some certain questions, such as, you know, let's say I couldn't find it. What are there charges here? He said yes. He said it's a felony if there was over $1,000 or a credit card with over $1,000 limit on your card. It is a felony in this state. I said, ooh, right? Good to know. So anyway, I then have my belongings. I then begin to put on my clothes for work. About 15 minutes later, and this is where the story is related to everything that we're talking about right here. It took a long setup, chat, but we here now, okay? 15 minutes later, I get a call. Bring. I pick up the call. Hello? From a number I obviously don't recognize. Hello? How would, and then name my employer at the time, how would like to know that you beat women? Now, the voice that I'm hearing, it's not the same voice of the girl that I've been talking to this morning to try to get my shit back. It's a completely different voice. And in fact, when I recount back the inflections within her voice, it was a hood booger. Hood booger. Straight up. You can hear the inflections, the ratchet inflections within her voice. Okay. Her homegirl calls me. How would place of business like to know that you beat women? I said, excuse me? Then on, and this is another thing as well, because after this whole situation, I downloaded a phone recorder onto my phone so that it would automatically begin to record conversations, because I said at that time, now mind you, was I even on YouTube at this time? Maybe not. So I didn't have a way to just record things, and I didn't know to just, I just didn't know. So since then, I had downloaded a phone recorder on my phone to record conversations, because you just never know, okay? And she begins to talk about all of it. Why did you lay your hands on her? She's got all these marks on her. All of this crazy shit, right? All of this crazy shit. I believe her name was Julia. Yeah, Julia. All of this crazy shit. How would they like to know? We about to call that right now, and we about to call the cops up on you. And the first thing that I thought to myself is that I'm so happy that I called the cops. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea to let my right hand know what my left hand is doing and be slightly petty and send the photo to the cops to her. But I'm glad that I made that initial phone call to the cops, again, to start that line of visibility or traceability to the system of events. And that'll come into play here in a quick second. So what is it that I do next? I call my best friend right after that. I said, man, I got a situation. And they were dead ass serious, right? I call my best friend. I'm telling him the situation. And he's just like, bro, you got to recall the cops. You got to get them back down there. All right. So I did. I recalled the cops, right? Recalled the cops. And then cop came back. And here was the blessing in all of this. It was the exact same police officer. It was the exact same one who came in. And then he said that when he came in, he said, they did call, and I went down there and collected a report. I said, these lying, just making things up. And he said, but nothing's going to happen to you because, first off, there's no marks on her, right? I told them to go down to the hospital. They didn't want to go, right? Then he also said, and the timeline doesn't make sense because you called the cops first. Why is someone who is assaulting someone else is going to call the cops first? Again, system of traceability. So nothing's going to happen to you. So because of this, now, nothing else. I never texted, never called that girl again, and she didn't do the same. So that was it. It was dead in the water. The lesson is within all of this. Now, it's a ton of different lessons, and I learned several lessons through in this. But how I connect it to what it is that I'm seeing right here is if you put yourself out there and you associate with crazy, and to be honest, this is one of the reasons that, you know, it's actually would behoove men to get into relationships, and for the men that are interested in marriage to get into marriage, because you're in a space with a lot more familiar people. You're not introducing yourself to random new people who could be scammers, who could be fraudsters, who could be goddamn evildoers, like this chick, this lying ass, scamming ass chick right here, right? Whose back was against the wall and decided that she wanted to try to set up a false allegation. Many lessons within this story, and I want you guys to be able to learn within my mistakes, as well as with all of the mistakes of folks that have been making, you know, who are in media, right? Let me read some of the chats real quick, and we'll finish off this video. Missed out on the prettiest girl for the second cutest. Shaking my head. Even worse, I was a player. Oh, I think Morally Good is back in the chat. Okay. Long story short, got lucky in this situation. Wasn't a public figure at the time. So nothing else happened besides that little bit of span of time that morning when her homegirl called me to try to say something or scare me back. But then they actually filed a police report. And again, nothing else happened as a result of all of that. So learn from my lesson. Again, guys, let's finish up the video.
Or arrested, or even amounting to any serious legal action. So if that's how they treated Russell Brand of allegations alone, how the hell are they going to treat young Philly when he's been charged and arrested? And it's not like it's going to be easy for some of these big creators to just ignore, because, you know, Philly is really a big part of their content. I mean, especially the Chunks and Philly show. Like, that podcast has just come up and it's, you know, started to do really well. And now this happens. I think it really comes down to how much pressure their fans and the internet puts on them to say something.
All right. Fantastic video right there. The name of this brother's channel is Dylan Page. Last 3 hours, this has 134,000 views. That is so damn crazy. So this story is absolutely blowing up. Okay, let me get this back up, down, up in here. And thank you guys. All right, let me get up out of here. Until next time, YouTube.